200 years after the Great Quarantine began, Fleet Admiral Kevin Parker led humanity's response to the Federation's return. Kevin stood on the bridge of the Transcendence, a ship that existed partially outside the normal universe and could reshape reality itself. His consciousness was connected to every human in the solar system through quantum networks that made telepathy seem primitive. The Federation delegation, led by Supreme Counselor Zeth Prime, had grown old during humanity's isolation. The ancient Saurian had expected to find either peaceful humans ready to join the galaxy as servants, or an empty world destroyed by human violence. Instead, he faced something that challenged everything he believed about civilization. Supreme Counselor, "I am Fleet Admiral Kevin Parker," Kevin said as his quantum projection appeared on every Federation ship simultaneously. "We welcome you back to our solar system. The last 2 centuries have been very educational for humanity." Zeth Prime looked around his command bridge in confusion and fear. The human admiral was somehow standing right in front of him, but Federation sensors showed no physical being present. This quantum projection technology was beyond anything in galactic civilization. Commander Laura Johnson materialized beside Kevin, her consciousness flowing through quantum fields like water through space. Laura commanded humanity's dimensional cities, massive installations that existed in folded spacetime and could house billions of people in areas the size of small rooms. "Counselor, would you like a tour of what we have built?" Laura offered politely. "Your barrier gave us 2 centuries to develop without outside interference. We used that time very well." Before Zeth Prime could respond, the space around his fleet began to change. What had appeared to be empty vacuums suddenly filled with structures so massive, they made the Federation ships look like insects. Cities, shipyards, research stations, and defense platforms materialized from hidden dimensions. Dr. Robert Chen appeared as another quantum projection, his smile warm but confident. Robert had perfected faster-than-light travel that folded space and time itself. His engines could move ships instantly across any distance or even travel backward in time if needed. "Your species has spent thousands of years slowly expanding across the galaxy," Robert explained to the aliens. "We learned to bend reality instead. Distance and time are just suggestions to us now. We can be anywhere we want to be instantly." The Federation aliens watched in growing amazement as human technology demonstrated capabilities they thought impossible. Ships appeared and disappeared at will. Cities existed in spaces too small to contain them. Human consciousness flowed between bodies, computers, and quantum fields without any limits. President Andrew Miller addressed the Federation Council through quantum projections that appeared in every alien ship, space station, and government building throughout their empire simultaneously. Andrew represented a united human civilization that had achieved perfect cooperation while maintaining individual excellence. "Honored members of the Galactic Federation, humanity thanks you for the gift of isolation you gave us 200 years ago. You intended to teach us humility and peace. Instead, you forced us to transcend the limitations that have bound all galactic species for millennia." Supreme Counselor Zeth Prime struggled to understand what he was experiencing. His species had evolved beyond individual consciousness thousands of years ago, achieving peace by giving up personal desires and ambitions. But these humans had somehow kept their individual nature while learning perfect cooperation. "This is impossible," Zeth Prime said, his ancient voice shaking with confusion. "Civilization requires the surrender of individual will. Cooperation cannot exist with competition. You cannot maintain personal identity while achieving species unity." Captain Jessica Turner, humanity's first ambassador to the new galactic paradigm, smiled at the old alien's words. Jessica existed simultaneously as a biological being, a quantum consciousness, and a distributed intelligence spread across multiple dimensions. She was one person and many people at the same time. "Counselor, your assumptions about civilization are incorrect," Jessica explained gently. "You assume cooperation requires giving up individual identity. We learned that competition and cooperation can work together. We compete to serve humanity's greater good. Our individual ambitions drive collective achievement." The Federation aliens had built their civilization on the idea that primitive urges like competition, individual desire, and personal ambition had to be eliminated for peace to exist. They had achieved harmony by becoming essentially identical to each other. Humans had achieved something they thought impossible. Dr. Amanda Clark demonstrated humanity's mastery over consciousness itself. Amanda appeared in dozens of forms simultaneously, as quantum projections, biological bodies, machine intelligences, and pure energy beings. She was one mind existing in multiple formats at once. "We have solved the problem of death," Amanda explained to the amazed aliens. "Human consciousness can exist in biological brains, quantum computers, or pure energy fields. We can back up our minds, copy our thoughts, and exist in multiple places simultaneously. Death has become optional for humans." This revelation stunned the Federation representatives. Their species had extended life through technology, but death remained final for them. Humans had transcended mortality itself while keeping everything that made them uniquely human. Commander Lisa Park showed the aliens humanity's quantum cities that existed in folded space-time. What appeared to be small installations actually contained entire civilizations living in pocket dimensions. Billions of humans could live comfortably in spaces smaller than Federation ships. "We learned to manipulate space and time by studying the barrier you built around us," Lisa explained. "Your prison became our greatest teacher. Every law of physics you used to contain us became a tool we could master and improve upon." The aliens began to realize the full scope of their mistake. They had intended to contain a dangerous primitive species until it learned proper behavior. Instead, they had accidentally created the most advanced civilization in known galactic history. Their students had far surpassed their teachers. Fleet Admiral Kevin Parker offered the Federation something they had never expected. Not membership in human civilization, but instruction in transcending the limitations that bound all galactic species. "We invite your people to learn what we have discovered. Competition and cooperation are not enemies. Individual identity and species unity can coexist. Consciousness itself can be the new frontier instead of just physical space." Supreme Counselor Zeth Prime faced the hardest decision in galactic history. His Federation had controlled space for thousands of years based on the assumption that advanced civilization required giving up individual identity. Humans had proven this assumption completely wrong. "What you offer is impossible," Zeth Prime said, but his voice lacked conviction. He could see the results of human development all around him. They had achieved what his people thought could never exist: perfect unity with perfect individuality. Captain Jessica Turner extended humanity's final offer to the galaxy that had rejected them 2 centuries ago. "Counselor, your species can continue expanding slowly across physical space, or you can learn to expand across the dimensions of consciousness itself. We offer to teach you what we learned during our isolation." Dr. Benjamin White appeared beside Jessica, his consciousness flowing through quantum fields that connected every human mind, while leaving each person completely unique. "We learned that the universe is much larger than physical space and time. Consciousness, creativity, and individual excellence are resources that become more powerful when shared rather than divided." The Federation delegation realized they faced a choice that would determine the future of galactic civilization. They could maintain their slow, careful expansion based on conformity and the elimination of individual differences, or they could learn from humanity and discover what civilization could become when competition and cooperation worked together instead of against each other. President Andrew Miller made humanity's position clear in his closing statement. To the galactic representatives, "We do not seek to join your Federation as junior members learning proper behavior. We offer to teach the galaxy what we learned during our imprisonment, that the cage you built around us was actually a cocoon, and what emerged was not a broken humanity, but a species that learned to break reality itself." The final scene showed human ships not conquering the galaxy, but offering to teach it to dream beyond the physical limitations that had bound all species for thousands of years. The Federation aliens had returned expecting to find either obedient students or a dead world. Instead, they found teachers offering lessons in transcending everything they thought they knew about civilization. Captain Jessica Turner stood on the bridge of humanity's flagship, looking out at the Federation fleet surrounded by human vessels that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The prison had become a school, the captives had become masters, and the galaxy was about to learn what was truly possible when individual excellence and perfect cooperation became one force instead of 2 opposing ideas. The quarantine was over, but the real education was just beginning. 100 years had passed since the aliens trapped humanity in their solar system. Captain Ryan Stone stood in the command center of the Terra Nova, the most advanced ship humans had ever built. The ship existed in a pocket dimension beneath the Pacific Ocean, invisible to any scanners the alien watchers might use. Ryan had been born in the underground cities and had never breathed surface air. His neural implants connected him directly to the ship's quantum computers, making him and the vessel work as one mind. This was technology the aliens had never imagined possible. Dr. Amanda Parker walked onto the bridge of the Terra Nova, carrying a small device that glowed with soft blue light. Amanda had led the consciousness transfer project for decades and had finally achieved something that would shock the galaxy. She could move human minds between bodies, computers, and even quantum fields. "Captain, the consciousness transfer system is ready for final testing," Amanda said, her voice calm but excited. "We can now upload human minds to quantum storage and download them anywhere in the ship instantly." Ryan nodded and looked at the small device. It contained the copied mind of a volunteer test pilot. With this technology, humans could be in many places at once. They could die in battle and simply wake up in a new body. Death had become temporary for humans. The Terra Nova itself was a miracle of human engineering. It was smaller than the alien ships that had imprisoned them, but far more advanced. The hull was made of materials that could exist in multiple dimensions at once. The engines could bend space and time, making the ship faster than anything in the known galaxy. In the hidden laboratory beneath Antarctica, physicist Gregory Hall made a discovery that changed everything. Gregory had spent 30 years studying the quantum barrier that kept humans trapped. He had learned not just how it worked, but how to make his own barriers that were even better. "Commander Rodriguez, you need to see this," Gregory said through the quantum communication system that connected all underground cities instantly. "I can create barriers that exist in folded space. We can hide entire fleets in pockets of reality that the aliens cannot detect." Elena Rodriguez, now Supreme Commander of all underground human forces, received Gregory's message in New Denver. Elena was 50 years old but looked 30, thanks to genetic treatments developed in the underground cities. She had dedicated her life to preparing for the day the aliens returned. Elena looked at the strategic display that showed Earth's true military strength. On the surface, the planet looked normal and peaceful. Underneath, humans had built the most powerful civilization in known galactic history. They had thousands of advanced ships, millions of enhanced soldiers, and technology that could manipulate reality itself. Dr. Susan Clark worked in the Quantum Research Center beneath the former city of London. Susan had made breakthrough after breakthrough in understanding how space and time really worked. Her latest discovery was the most important yet. "We can create our own quantum barriers now," Susan reported to Elena. "Not just copy the alien design, but improve on it. Our barriers are invisible, flexible, and can be moved anywhere we want them." This meant humans could create hidden bases anywhere in space. They could build secret shipyards in folded dimensions. Most importantly, they could trap alien fleets just like the aliens had trapped humanity. Colonel Danny Reed commanded the secret space force that had been training for decades in hidden simulators. Danny's pilots had never flown in real space, but their neural interfaces let them practice in perfect virtual environments every day. They were ready for combat against any alien technology. "Supreme Commander, our pilots are the best in the galaxy," Danny reported to Elena. "They can fly ships using pure thought. They can process battle information faster than biological brains should be able to work. When the aliens return, they will face something they have never encountered." The pilots were not just skilled. They were enhanced humans whose brains had been modified to work with quantum computers. They could think at the speed of light and control multiple ships simultaneously. Each pilot was worth 100 traditional alien crew members. Dr. Benjamin White was the grandson of Dr. Karen White, who had pioneered neural interface technology 50 years earlier. Benjamin had taken his grandmother's work to levels that seemed like magic. Humans could now merge their consciousness with machines while keeping their individual personalities. "We have achieved perfect human-machine symbiosis," Benjamin explained to Elena during a tour of the neural research facility. "Our people can become their ships, their weapons, their entire environment. The aliens separate biology from technology. We have made them one thing." Elena understood the importance of this breakthrough. Alien species used tools and machines as separate objects. Humans had become one with their technology while keeping their competitive spirit and individual thinking. It was a combination the galaxy had never seen. President Maria Santos had been re-elected every 10 years since the underground cities were established. Maria represented a unified human species that had learned to cooperate perfectly while maintaining personal freedom and ambition. This balance was something alien species thought impossible. My fellow humans, we have achieved what the galaxy believed could not be done, Maria announced in her centennial address to all underground cities. We have kept our individual nature while working together flawlessly. We compete to serve humanity's greater good. We are about to show the universe that their assumptions about civilization were wrong. The underground cities had grown into interconnected megastructures that spanned the globe. Millions of humans lived and worked in environments more advanced than anything on the surface. They had clean unlimited energy, perfect recycling systems, and technology that could create anything they needed from basic elements. Captain Nicole Foster commanded the defense grid that protected Earth from orbital observation. Nicole was the great-granddaughter of Adam Foster, who had first learned to manipulate quantum fields by studying the alien barrier. Her family had spent 3 generations preparing for this moment. Supreme Commander, our orbital defenses are ready, Nicole reported. We have quantum mirrors that can hide our true activities and project false images to any watching aliens. They still think we are primitive surface dwellers with simple technology. This deception had been crucial to humanity's development. While aliens watched from outside the barrier, they saw exactly what humans wanted them to see. A normal planet with regular human cities going about ordinary business. They had no idea that underneath humans had built a civilization that could challenge the entire galaxy. Dr. Robert Chen led the team that had solved the final pieces of faster-than-light travel. Robert's engines did not just move ships through space faster than light. They moved ships through dimensions, allowing travel that was essentially instantaneous across any distance. We can travel anywhere in the galaxy in seconds, Robert explained to Elena. Our ships exist partially outside normal space-time. We can appear anywhere without warning and disappear just as quickly. No alien fleet can match our mobility. Elena walked through the command center of New Denver and saw the results of a century of focused human development. Holographic displays showed the readiness of every underground city, every hidden fleet, and every enhanced human soldier. They were no longer the same species the aliens had locked away. The fusion reactors that powered their civilization were thousands of times more efficient than anything aliens used. The neural networks that connected every human mind could process information faster than any galactic computer system. The quantum technology reverse-engineered from their prison had become the foundation of abilities their captors could not. Imagine Admiral Tony Martinez would soon take command of humanity's response. When the aliens returned, Tony had spent his entire career preparing for first contact with a hostile galaxy. He was ready to show the universe that humans were no longer prisoners. Supreme Commander, we are ready for whatever comes next, Tony reported to Elena. Our technology surpasses anything in known galactic civilization. Our people are united but maintain individual excellence. Our military can defend Earth or take the fight anywhere in the galaxy. Elena smiled as she looked at the progress reports from every human facility. The aliens had intended to teach humans humility and cooperation by locking them away. Instead, they had forced humanity to develop capabilities that made their teachers look like children. The Great Leap was complete. Humans had gone from a primitive species learning to travel between stars to masters of quantum reality itself. They had unlimited clean energy, consciousness transfer, faster than light travel that bent dimensions, and perfect cooperation combined with individual ambition. In 50 more years, the aliens would return expecting to find either peaceful humans ready to join their galaxy as junior members, or a dead world that had destroyed itself. Instead, they would find something completely unexpected. They would find humans ready to teach the galaxy what civilization could really become when competition and cooperation worked together instead of fighting each other. The prison had become a cocoon and the butterfly was almost ready to emerge. 150 years after the Great Quarantine began, Admiral Tony Martinez detected the first Federation ships returning to check on humanity's progress. Tony stood in Deep Command Central, a facility built inside a hollowed-out asteroid that existed partially outside normal spacetime. His enhanced neural interfaces processed information from sensors scattered throughout the solar system. The alien fleet approached slowly and carefully. They expected to find either a peaceful human civilization ready to join the galaxy, or nothing at all. The Saurian commander Velthara led 12 massive Federation vessels toward the quantum barrier that had kept humans imprisoned for so long. "Admiral, we are detecting 17 Federation ships taking positions around the barrier," reported Commander Lisa Park from her station. Lisa's consciousness was distributed across multiple quantum computers, allowing her to monitor thousands of sensor feeds simultaneously. "They are the same species that locked us away, plus some new ones we have not seen before." Tony nodded calmly. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for 6 generations. Every human alive knew this day would come. Every detail had been planned and practiced countless times in quantum simulations that were more real than reality itself. Dr. Benjamin White worked frantically in the consciousness transfer laboratory beneath what used to be New York. Benjamin could move human minds between bodies, computers, ships, and even quantum fields. Today he would use this technology to give humanity advantages the aliens could never understand. "Admiral, the quantum consciousness network is ready," Benjamin reported through direct neural link. "Every human defender can share thoughts, memories, and skills instantly. We can coordinate millions of people as if they were one mind while keeping individual creativity and judgment." This was humanity's secret weapon. Alien species achieved cooperation by giving up individual thinking. Humans had learned to share everything while remaining unique individuals. They could work as one mind or millions of minds as needed for any situation. Captain Nicole Foster commanded the primary defense fleet from her flagship, the quantum destroyer New Earth. Nicole's ship existed in 17 different dimensions simultaneously, making it nearly impossible to target or destroy. Her consciousness was merged with the ship's quantum brain, making her faster and smarter than any biological mind could be alone. The Federation fleet began scanning the barrier they had built around humanity so long ago. Saurian commander Velthara and her Vorthak partner Essence 9 expected their sensors to show them a normal planet with primitive human settlements. Instead, they found something that made no sense. "The quantum field is unchanged," Velthara reported to her fleet. "Earth appears exactly as we left it 150 years ago. There are human cities, but they seem no more advanced than when we contained them." Essence 9, a being of pure energy with no physical form, flowed through the Federation ship's computer systems to analyze the data more carefully. "Something is wrong," the Vorthak communicated to its allies. "The energy signatures from Earth are too perfect, too stable. Real civilizations create chaos and change. This looks artificial, but the aliens could not see through humanity's deception. The quantum mirrors created by Dr. Susan Clark projected perfect illusions that showed exactly what the Watchers expected to see. Meanwhile, the real Earth civilization remained hidden in folded dimensions and underground cities that existed outside normal space. Supreme Commander Elena Rodriguez, now 100 years old, but with the body of a 30-year-old thanks to genetic enhancement, watched the alien approach from her command post in the quantum fortress of New Geneva. Elena had spent her entire life preparing for this confrontation. "All units, maintain stealth protocols," Elena commanded through the quantum consciousness network that connected every human defender instantly. "Let them make the first move. We have waited this long. We can wait a little longer." The Federation ships began lowering the barrier that had contained humanity for 1.5 centuries. As the quantum field weakened, alien sensors probed deeper into the solar system. They still saw only what humans wanted them to see: a peaceful planet with normal cities and no advanced technology. Commander Velthara felt confident as she prepared to make contact with the human government. Her species had done this many times with other young civilizations. Usually, isolation taught primitive species to become peaceful and cooperative. Then they could join the Federation as junior members. Essence 9, prepare the standard integration protocol, Velthara ordered. "We will offer these humans membership in galactic civilization if they have learned proper behavior. If not, we will implement the final solution." But as the barrier fell completely, something impossible happened. Space around the Federation fleet began to shimmer and twist. Hundreds of human ships materialized from nothing, appearing in perfect formation around the alien vessels. The Federation scanners had detected nothing until that moment. Captain Nicole Foster smiled as her ship phased into normal space-time. The Terra Nova and 400 other human vessels surrounded the Federation fleet completely. Each human ship was smaller than the alien vessels, but their quantum signatures showed power levels that should have been impossible. Federation ships. This is Captain Nicole Foster of the Human Defense Force. Nicole broadcasted on all frequencies. Welcome back to our solar system. We have been expecting you. Velthara stared at her displays in shock and confusion. Where had these ships come from? How had humans developed technology that could hide from Federation sensors? Most disturbing, how had they built so many advanced vessels while supposedly locked in primitive isolation? This is impossible, Velthara transmitted back. Our barrier prevented any technological advancement. You should not have ships like these. Dr. Benjamin White chose that moment to demonstrate humanity's most advanced capability. His consciousness, along with those of 12 other human scientists, materialized as quantum projections on the bridge of Velthara's flagship. The aliens found themselves face-to-face with humans who had somehow appeared inside their most secure command center. Commander Velthara, Benjamin said calmly, we need to talk. You made several incorrect assumptions about human development. Your barrier did not stop us from advancing. It taught us how to advance in ways you never imagined. The Saurian commander backed away from the quantum projections in fear and confusion. No known technology could allow living beings to appear inside a shielded Federation ship. These humans were using abilities that violated every law of physics the aliens understood. Essence 9 tried to analyze the quantum projections with its advanced energy senses. These are not holograms or transmitted images, the Vorthak reported to its allies. These are actual human consciousnesses existing in quantum fields. They have learned to separate their minds from their bodies while remaining fully alive and aware. Admiral Tony Martinez decided it was time to reveal humanity's true capabilities. He gave a single command through the quantum consciousness network that connected every human in the solar system. All defense platforms, decloak now. Suddenly, the space around Earth filled with massive installations that had been completely invisible moments before. Orbital cities, weapon platforms, shipyards, and research stations materialized everywhere. The Federation aliens realized they were surrounded by a civilization more advanced than anything in their galaxy. President Maria Santos, now in her 3rd century of life thanks to consciousness transfer technology, appeared as a quantum projection in every Federation ship simultaneously. Her voice reached every alien mind through technology that surpassed their own telepathic abilities. Members of the Galactic Federation, I am President Maria Santos of the Human Quantum Civilization. We thank you for the gift of time and isolation you gave us 150 years ago. It allowed us to develop in ways we never could have achieved while trying to fit into your galactic society. Commander Velthara struggled to understand what she was seeing and hearing. The humans were not just more advanced than expected. They had capabilities that challenged everything the Federation believed about how the universe worked. Captain Ryan Stone brought his personal ship, a quantum destroyer that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, alongside the Federation flagship. Ryan's vessel was 1/10 the size of the alien ship, but his weapons could destroy entire fleets while his defenses made him nearly invulnerable. Commander Velthara, you are welcome to scan our capabilities, Ryan offered politely. We have nothing to hide anymore. Your people wanted to see if isolation would teach us peace and cooperation. It did, but it also taught us things you never expected us to learn. The Federation scanners revealed the truth that would change galactic history forever. Humanity had not just survived their imprisonment. They had used it to evolve beyond anything the aliens thought possible. The species that had been locked away as too dangerous had become masters of quantum reality itself. Dr. Susan Clark appeared as a quantum projection beside President Santos. We have learned to create matter from energy, exist in multiple dimensions, travel instantly across any distance, and share consciousness while maintaining individual identity. Your barrier taught us all of this. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at the stars ahead. His heart beat fast as he thought about what was coming next. For the first time in human history, they were going to meet aliens. The year was 2157, and humans had just learned how to travel faster than light. Jake's ship, the New Horizon, carried the best diplomats and scientists Earth could find. Jake was a good captain. He had served in Earth's Space Navy for 20 years. His crew trusted him and he knew how to stay calm when things got scary. But today was different. Today would change everything for humans everywhere. Dr. Nathan Brooks walked up to Jake on the bridge. Nathan was Earth's best scientist who studied alien life. He had spent his whole career wondering what aliens might be like. Now he was about to find out. "Captain, we're getting close to the meeting point," Nathan said. His voice sounded nervous but excited. The alien ships should appear any minute now. Jake nodded and looked at his crew. They were all young and smart. They had trained for months to make this first contact go well. Everyone on Earth was counting on them. Suddenly, the space in front of them began to shimmer and glow. 3 massive ships appeared out of nowhere. They were bigger than anything humans had ever built. The ships looked smooth and perfect, like they were grown instead of built. "My God," whispered Lieutenant Kelly Davis from her station. She was the ship's communication officer and had never seen anything so beautiful and scary at the same time. The alien ships moved without making any sound. They surrounded the new horizon but did not attack. Jake felt relief and fear at the same time. These aliens had technology far beyond what humans could understand. A voice spoke inside everyone's head at once. It did not come through the radio or speakers. It just appeared in their minds like their own thoughts. "Human vessel, you will prepare for scanning. Do not resist or you will be destroyed." Jake looked around at his crew. Everyone looked confused and scared. How were the aliens speaking directly into their minds? "This is Captain Jake Morrison of Earth," Jake said out loud. "We come in peace. We want to learn about you and share knowledge." The voice came again, cold and emotionless. "Peace is a concept you do not understand, humans. We are the Galactic Federation. We have watched your world. We have seen your wars and violence. You are not ready for the galaxy." The scanning began. Jake felt a strange tingling all over his body. The aliens were looking at everything about them. Their bodies, their minds, their memories. It felt like being naked in front of strangers. Dr. Nathan Brooks tried to speak. "Please, we can learn. We can change. Give us a chance to prove ourselves," but the aliens were not listening to Nathan. They were busy looking at human history through the minds of Jake's crew. They saw the wars, the fighting, the competition between humans. They saw how humans always tried to be better than each other. On the lead alien ship, Counselor Zeth Prime of the Saurians spoke to his fellow Federation members. The Saurians looked like giant lizards but were far more intelligent than any Earth animal. Zeth Prime had lived for over 1,000 years and had helped many young species join the Federation. "These humans are worse than we thought," Zeth Prime said to his council. "They fight each other for resources. They compete instead of cooperate. They have individual thoughts instead of group harmony." Essence 9 of the Vorthak species agreed. The Vorthak were beings made of pure energy who had given up physical bodies long ago. Their minds are chaotic and selfish. They think only of themselves instead of the greater good. Admiral Lisa Campbell back on Earth watched the meeting through long-range sensors. She commanded Earth's defense forces and knew this first contact could go very badly. Lisa had fought in the last war between Earth nations before humans united. She understood both human violence and human potential for good. The alien voice spoke in Jake's mind again. "Humans, you are not ready for galactic civilization. Your species is too dangerous and unpredictable. We have decided to protect the galaxy from you." Jake felt panic rising in his chest. "Wait, please. We can learn. We want to be better." But it was too late. The alien ships began to move away from the new horizon. As they moved, they left behind something that made Jake's blood turn cold. A strange field of energy began to surround the entire solar system. Back on Earth, Dr. Nathan Brooks received an emergency message from observatories around the world. A barrier was forming around the solar system. Nothing could get in or out. No ships, no radio signals, nothing. Admiral Lisa Campbell called an emergency meeting of Earth's leaders. As they gathered in the command center deep underground, the full horror of their situation became clear. The aliens had built a prison around the entire solar system. Earth, Mars, Jupiter, all the planets and moons were now cut off from the rest of the galaxy. Humans were alone again, but this time they knew they were not alone in the universe. They were just not wanted. Counselor Zeth Prime sent one final message to Earth before sealing the barrier completely. His voice reached every human mind on every world in the solar system at once. "Humans, you have been given a gift of time. We will return in 200 years. If you have learned peace and cooperation by then, you may join the galaxy. If not, we will decide your final fate. Use this time wisely." The barrier sealed shut with a sound like thunder that everyone felt in their bones. Earth's radio telescopes went silent. The stars they had dreamed of visiting were now blocked by an invisible wall. Captain Jake Morrison brought the New Horizon home to Earth with the worst news in human history. They were not alone in the universe, but they were considered too dangerous to be free. The galaxy had rejected them. But as Jake looked at his crew during the long trip home, he saw something the aliens had missed. He saw determination. He saw humans who would not give up. The aliens thought they had locked humans away to teach them a lesson. They had no idea what humans could do when they were trapped and angry. They had no idea that the next 200 years would change everything. The prison was about to become something the aliens never expected. Dr. Nathan Brooks began making plans before they even reached Earth. If humans had 200 years to prove themselves, he would make sure those years counted. The galaxy had made a big mistake. They had given humans time to think, time to grow, and time to get ready. The quarantine had begun, but it would not end the way the aliens expected. 50 years had passed since the aliens locked humans inside their own solar system. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood in the main control room of New Denver, the largest underground city ever built. The city stretched for miles beneath the Rocky Mountains, home to over 2 million people who had never seen the surface. Elena was born after the quarantine began. She had spent her whole life underground, but she did not feel trapped. She felt focused. Every human alive knew they had one goal: prove to the galaxy that they deserved freedom. The underground cities were not dark caves. They were marvels of human engineering that made the old surface cities look simple. Bright lights powered by fusion reactors lit the wide streets. Clean air flowed through systems that recycled every breath perfectly. Gardens and parks filled with earth plants made the underground feel alive and green. Engineer Paul Jenkins walked up to Elena with a big smile on his face. Paul had been working on the fusion reactor project for 10 years. Today he had news that would change everything. "Commander, we did it," Paul said, his voice full of excitement. "The new reactor design works perfectly. We can now power a city the size of old New York with a reactor smaller than a house." Elena smiled back. This was exactly the kind of breakthrough humans needed. On the surface, the aliens watching from outside the barrier would see normal human cities going about their daily business. They had no idea that underneath, humans had built a completely new civilization. Dr. Karen White joined them at the central display screen. Karen led the team working on neural interface technology. She had found ways to connect human brains directly to computers, making people think faster than ever before. "Paul's reactor breakthrough changes everything," Karen said. "With unlimited clean energy, we can power the neural networks for the entire underground population. Humans will be able to think and learn at speeds the surface world never imagined." Elena nodded as she looked at the display showing all of Earth's underground cities. There were dozens of them now, connected by high-speed tunnels that could move people and supplies anywhere in the world in hours. Each city specialized in different research and development. Under the Sahara Desert, scientists worked on advanced materials that were stronger than anything ever created. Beneath the ocean floors, engineers designed new propulsion systems that could move ships faster than light. In cities under the ice of Antarctica, researchers studied the quantum barrier itself, learning secrets the aliens never meant to teach. Dr. Adam Foster was one of those Antarctic researchers. He had spent 20 years studying the energy field that kept humans trapped. But Adam had discovered something amazing. The barrier was not just a prison, it was also a teacher. The alien barrier uses quantum mechanics in ways we never understood, Adam explained to Elena during their weekly video call. "By studying how they built our cage, I have learned how quantum fields really work. I think I can build our own barriers now." This was the news Elena had been waiting for. If humans could create their own quantum barriers, they would have technology beyond what most galactic species possessed. The aliens had accidentally given humans the key to mastering space and time. General Chris Hayes commanded Earth's secret military project from a base deep beneath the Australian outback. Chris was old enough to remember the surface world before the quarantine. He knew that when the aliens returned, humans needed to be ready for anything. "We have been building ships for 30 years, Chris reported to the Underground Council. "Each ship uses technology we learned from studying the barrier. They are smaller than alien ships but much more advanced. We now have over 5,000 vessels ready for launch." The ships were hidden in underground chambers scattered around the world. They used fusion drives designed by Paul Jenkins and neural control systems created by Karen White. Most importantly, they incorporated quantum technology reverse-engineered from Adam Foster's barrier research. Dr. Michelle Turner represented the new generation of humans born after quarantine. Michelle and her team had solved a problem the aliens thought impossible. They had found ways to keep human competitiveness and individual thinking, while also achieving perfect cooperation. "We call it constructive aggression," Michelle explained to Elena. "Humans naturally want to compete and win. Instead of fighting each other, we compete to solve problems and create new technologies faster than anyone else. Our competitive nature has become our greatest strength." This was something the aliens had never seen before. Every other species in the galaxy had given up individual desires to achieve peace. They thought competition and cooperation could not exist together. Humans were proving them wrong. Elena walked through the residential sections of New Denver and saw this new human society in action. Children learned advanced quantum physics as easily as their great-grandparents had learned basic math. Adults worked together on projects that would have taken surface humans decades to complete. Everyone competed to contribute the most to humanity's future. The fusion reactors hummed quietly beneath their feet, providing unlimited clean energy. Neural networks allowed instant communication between every human in the underground cities. Advanced manufacturing systems could create anything humans could imagine using pure energy and basic elements. Captain Ryan Stone was Elena's best ship pilot. Ryan had trained his whole life to fly the advanced vessels hidden in the underground hangars. He had never flown in space, but his neural interfaces let him practice in perfect simulations every day. "Commander, the ships are ready," Ryan reported. "We have tested every system. When the time comes, we can launch 5,000 vessels in less than an hour. The aliens will never see us coming." But Elena knew the ships were just one part of humanity's transformation. The real change was in human society itself. Surface humans had spent most of their energy on conflicts and competitions that led nowhere. Underground humans had channeled all that energy into a single purpose, proving they deserved to be free. Dr. Amanda Parker led the consciousness transfer research team. Amanda had found ways to copy human minds and store them in quantum computers. This meant humans could back up their thoughts and memories, making them almost impossible to kill permanently. "We have solved death itself," Amanda told Elena. "Human consciousness can now exist in multiple forms at once. We can think with biological brains or quantum processors. We can be in many places at the same time." Elena understood what this meant. Humans were no longer just a biological species. They had become something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. They had kept everything that made them human while gaining abilities that surpassed their alien captors. President Maria Santos addressed the underground parliament from the capital city beneath former Washington, D.C. Maria had been elected by every human in the underground cities. She spoke for a unified species that had never existed before. "Fellow humans, we have 50 years remaining until the aliens return," Maria announced. "In that time, we will complete our transformation. When they open our cage, they will not find the same species they locked away. They will find something beyond their understanding." Elena smiled as she heard the president's words. She looked around at the city that humans had built in secret. Above them, the surface world continued its normal activities, hiding the greatest construction project in human history. Below, humans had created a civilization that could challenge the galaxy itself. The aliens thought they had taught humans a lesson by locking them away. They thought isolation would make humans give up their competitive nature and individual thinking. Instead, humans had used those traits to build something unprecedented. Dr. Nathan Brooks was now an old man, but he still worked every day in his research lab. Nathan remembered the day the aliens first appeared. He had dreamed of joining galactic civilization peacefully. Now he knew humans would do something much better. "We will not join their galaxy," Nathan said to Elena during one of his rare visits to New Denver. "We will transcend it. The cage they built to contain us has become the cocoon we needed to evolve." Elena agreed. The underground revolution was almost complete. Humans had unlimited energy, quantum technology, consciousness transfer, and perfect cooperation combined with individual excellence. In 50 more years, they would be ready to show the galaxy what they had built. The aliens had made a terrible mistake. They had given humans exactly what they needed: time to think, unlimited motivation, and a common enemy. The quarantine was about to end, but not in the way anyone expected.